Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to another half hour, and I'm with the same people. María Jesús and I and the director, we conferred. Es curioso porque existe un verbo en inglés y en español también, pero no se usa en español, que es conferir. Creo que existe conferir. Hemos conferido.
We don't use it.
Okay, hemos tenido una conferencia, all right, which means we conferred. It means to get together and to make a decision, to make a joint decision. A mutual decision, but a mutual es entre dos. A joint decision can be among many people. And María Jesús, together with one of the camera people and the director who's behind here, moving levers and pushing buttons, we decided, should we allow Jose Felix to continue? Yeah. And finally, I mean, there were divergent opinions. And so we debated the question in less than 3 minutes. That was what you call Speedy González in conferences, okay? And we made a decision that he could stay. But María Jesús was against it. Why were you against having him stay?
Oh, he's doing it so well that now all my mistakes will be more obvious.
Okay, so you prefer to shine above the other.
Yes.
But it is true, ladies and gentlemen, that yesterday, when I proposed to María Jesús to come as my student, the first question she asked, who's the other student? And I said, well, it's Margarita Perez. Margarita's English is too good. All right. Find somebody whose English is netamente inferior. It means a lot less than mine. Is that true?
No, it isn't.
Are you calling me a liar?
No, I'm not.
She's not calling me a liar, but she says it's not true. All right. But do you agree that he can continue?
Yes.
All right, good. Now, tell him to ask me if I have any friends in Turkey.
Do you have any, ask him if he has any friends in Turkey.
Turkey.
Do you have any friends in Turkey?
¿Ves lo bien que lo dice? Repite y aprende. Repeat, Turkey. Turkey. No, I don't. Tell him to ask me if I have any friends in Israel.
Ask him if he has any friends in Israel.
Do you have any friends in Israel?
No, I don't. Tell him to ask me if I have any friends in China.
Ask him if he has any friends in China.
Do you have any friends in China?
Yes, I do. Tell him to ask me how many friends I have in China.
Ask him how many friends he has in China.
How many friends do you have in China?
I have one. Tell him to ask me it's a man or a woman.
Ask him if it's a man or a woman.
It's, porque no hemos establecido
El
sexo,
género.
hombre o mujer o género.
Is it a man or a woman?
It's a man. Tell him to ask me if he knows that person too.
Ask him if you know him, that person too.
Excuse me, okay, could you repeat?
I don't know.
Let me help you.
Ask him.
No, just a second. Tell him to ask me if he knows that person too.
Ask him if
you-
you know that person too.
Good, person.
Person.
Turkey, person.
Person.
Menos mal que no hablamos de una persona en Turquía. Te morirías. A person in Turkey.
Do I know that person too?
Person. I think you do. Yeah. Tell him to ask me what that person's name is.
Ask him what
that person.
what that person's name is.
Y el genitivo sajón, ¿dónde lo has
What
metido?
that person's name is.
Good. Okay, one more time.
Ask him what that person's name is.
What's that person's name?
Persons or person?
Persons.
All right. That person's name is Li Tong. Okay, Li Tong. Do you know Li?
I don't know Lee.
You don't. Do you know Li?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, she knows Li, and you don't know Li. Okay. Well, then tell Jose Felix to ask me where Li lives.
Ask him where Lee lives.
Lives.
Where does Lee live?
What does he want to know?
He wants to know where Lee lives.
He lives in Shanghai. Shanghai. No, Shanghai. Shanghai. Repeat. Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Shanghai. Belly high. Shanghai. Repeat. Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Now tell Jose Felix to ask me if Shanghai is bigger than Hong Kong.
Ask him if Shanghai is bigger than Hong Kong.
Is Shanghai bigger than Hong Kong?
Yes, it is. Tell him to ask me if Shanghai is bigger than Beijing.
Ask him if Shanghai is bigger than Beijing.
Is Shanghai bigger than Beijing?
Beijing. Jiji. Yes, it is. Shanghai is bigger than Beijing. Tell him to ask me if Shanghai is the biggest city in the world.
Ask him if Shanghai is the biggest.
Biggest? ¿Con V? ¿Desde cuándo?
biggest city in the world?
Is Shanghai the biggest city in the world?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Tell him to ask me what city is the biggest in the world.
Ask him what city is the biggest in
In the world.
The biggest in the world.
What's the biggest city in the world?
I don't know. I think maybe Mexico City is the biggest in the world. Perhaps Buenos Aires, perhaps Cairo, but not Shanghai. But Shanghai is among the top 10. It's in the top 10. Tell him to ask me what the population of Shanghai is.
Ask him what the population of Shanghai is.
What's the population of What's the population of Shanghai?
Shanghai.
What's the population of Shanghai?
Eso, SH en inglés. It's between 15 and 16 million. All right. There's a transient population of 1 million, always changing and renovating. It's a big metropolis. Tell him to ask me how many times I've been there.
Ask him how many times he's been there.
How many times have you been there?
Never. I've never been there. But tell him to ask me why I know a person who lives there.
Ask him why he knows a person who lives there.
A person.
Why do you know a person who lives there?
Because I created him. All right.
Really?
Yeah. I created him. He's a fictitious person, but he has a life. All right. Now tell him to ask me if he's married.
Ask him if he's married.
Are you married?
No, me no. Li Tong, the man.
Sorry.
Is he?
Is he married?
Yes, he is. Tell him to ask me if his wife is also from Shanghai.
Ask him if his wife is also from Shanghai. Shanghai.
Is his wife also from Shanghai?
Shanghai, ¿cómo os cuesta? Shanghai. Yes, she is also from Shanghai. Tell him to ask me if they have any children.
Ask him if they have any children.
Do they have any children?
Yes, they do. Tell him to ask me how many children they have.
Ask him how many.
Ask him.
Ask him how many children they have.
Good. Quiero oírla acá incluso mejor.
Ask him. Ask him
Good.
how many children they have.
Okay, ask him.
How many children do they have?
Good. Repeat, please.
How many children do they have?
Do they have? They have one child. Tell him to ask me it's a boy or a girl.
Ask him if it's a boy or a girl.
Is it a boy or a girl?
It's a girl. It's a daughter. Tell him to ask me how old she is.
Ask him.
Ask him.
Ask him how old she is.
How old is she?
She's 9 years old. Now, tell him to ask me if she goes to a public school.
Ask him if she goes to a public school.
Does she go to a public school?
Yes, she does. Tell him to ask me if both the parents work.
Ask him if both the parents work.
Do
both the parents?
Do both the parents work?
No, they don't. Tell him to ask me which one works.
Ask him which one of them works.
Está bien, pero quita of them. Which one works?
Ask him which one works.
Which one do they work?
No uses verbo auxiliar aquí porque no hay sujeto. Estamos buscando el sujeto. La pregunta busca el sujeto. La pregunta por cuál de los dos trabaja. Entonces no sabemos, hasta que no identifiquemos cuál, no hay sujeto en la frase.
Yeah.
Realmente el sujeto es which one. Es one. Which one works? Y no hay verbo auxiliar. El verbo auxiliar, José Félix, existe para auxiliar al sujeto. Por eso se llama auxiliar, porque presta auxilio.
Yeah.
Ahora, si no hay un sujeto, no hay verbo auxiliar. Por ejemplo, ¿qué pasó ayer? ¿Qué pasó? What happened? No hay verbo auxiliar. Porque no hemos establecido. La pregunta busca ese suceso, acontecimiento o incidente que tuvo lugar. What happened? ¿Qué pasó ayer aquí? Que no hubo grabación. ¿Qué pasó ahí? Aquí. ¿Por qué no hubo grabación? ¿Qué es lo que pasó? ¿Qué pasó? What happened? Pues hubo un incendio. There was a fire. Where did it? ¿Dónde ocurrió aquí? ¿Dónde? Where did it happen? How did it happen? Why did it happen? When did it happen? What time did it happen? El did con it después, porque ya hemos establecido que hubo un incendio y el incendio es el sujeto. Ahora, ¿cómo se dice quién vino?
Who came?
Claro. Pepe came. ¿Por qué vino?
Why did he came? Did he come?
Ahí está.
Sorry. Why did he come?
Why did he come?
Why did he come?
Right. Do a did he dum did he do? Why did he come?
Why did he come?
¿A qué hora vino?
What time did he come?
¿Por qué vino?
Why did he come?
¿Cómo vino?
How did he come?
All right. ¿Quién vino con él?
Who came with? Who came with
Him.
him?
Yeah. Who came with him? ¿Quién vino con él? Ahora, ¿con quién vino él? Who?
Who come with
Did
him?
he?
Oh, sorry. Who did he come with him?
No, with him, no. Who did he come with?
Yeah. So,
Who did he come with?
who did he come with?
He came with Paco. Pepe came with Paco. Paco came with Pepe. All right. ¿Quién vino? Who came? Pepe came. Why did he come? Entonces, sí, entra en la ecuación del verbo auxiliar cuando el sujeto ya ha sido identificado y te haces referencia a dicho sujeto bien como nombre o bien como pronombre. ¿Ok?
Okay.
Si no, no hay verbo auxiliar. All right.
Okay.
¿Qué pasó? What happened? ¿Quién vino? Who came? All right, these type of things. So, ask me, I forgot the question, Maria Jesus, but ask me, which one works? The husband or the wife?
Which one works?
Okay, the husband works. Lee. Lee Tong. Lee is his name. And tell him to ask me where he works.
Ask him where he works.
Where does he work?
He works in Shanghai. All right. Tell him to ask me if he works near his house.
Ask him if he works near his house.
Does he work near his house?
No, he doesn't. Tell him to ask me how he goes to work every day.
Ask him how he goes to work every day.
How does he work?
How does he go?
How does he go to work every day?
On his bike. Do you have a bike?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Do you have a bike?
Yes, I do.
All right. Have you got a bike? Yes, I have. Do you have a bike? Yes, I do. Bicycle, bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. Okay, so you have a bike. Do you ride your bike every day?
Not every day.
No, you don't. Not every day. Do you ride your bike on the weekends?
Yes, I do.
Now, ask me if Lee rides his bike every day.
Does Lee ride his bike every day?
No, he doesn't. He's the opposite of you. He normally doesn't ride his bike on the weekends, but every day he goes to work. Tell him to ask me if he works in an office.
Ask him if he works in an office.
Does he work in an office?
No, he doesn't. Tell him to ask me if he works in the port.
Ask him if he works in the port.
Does he work in the port?
In the porto? No, he doesn't. Ask him if he works in the bureaucracy.
Ask him if he works in the bureaucracy.
Does he work in the bureaucracy?
No, he doesn't. Ask him. Tell him to ask me if he works in a factory.
Ask him if he works in a factory.
Does he work in a factory?
Yes, he does. Tell him to ask me if he works in a big factory.
Ask him if he works in a big factory.
Does he work in a big factory?
Yes, he does. Tell him to ask me what the factory makes.
Ask him what the factory makes.
What does the factory make?
It makes telephones. It makes telephones. Tell him to ask me if the factory makes mobile telephones.
Ask him if the factory makes mobile telephones.
Does the factory
Does,
make?
no, does.
Does
Mantén la lengua detrás de los dientes con la D. Does.
Okay. Does the factory
mantén
make?
no quiero ver la lengua para nada. Does.
Does.
All right.
Okay.
Does the factory make
Make
mobile phones?
Mobile phone.
Repeat.
Does the factory make mobile phones?
No, it doesn't. Tell him to ask me what kind of phones the factory makes.
Ask him what kind of phones the factory makes.
What kind of phones does the factory make?
The factory makes standard fixed telephones, conventional telephones. Now, tell him to ask me if Lee has an important job in the factory.
Ask him if Lee has an important job in the factory.
Does Lee have an important job
Job?
in the factory?
No, he doesn't. Well, Of course, every job is important in the factory, but relatively speaking, no, he doesn't have an important job. Tell him to ask me what he does in the factory.
Ask him what he does in the factory.
What does he do in the factory?
He is responsible for installing the earpiece in the telephone for the speaker. Do you understand?
Yes.
And he does only that. Tell him to ask me if Lee works on an assembly line.
Ask him if Lee works on an assembly line.
¿Cómo se dice cadena de montaje?
Assembly line.
Yes, línea de ensamblaje, es lo que decimos en inglés. Pero como asamblea y ensamblaje en inglés son las mismas palabras. Assembly. Voy a asistir a la asamblea. I'm going to attend the assembly. Y la asamblea es sobre asuntos del ensamblaje. Okay. The assembly is about questions concerning assembly. You understand? Okay, now tell Jose Felix to ask me if Lee works on the assembly line.
Ask him if Lee works on the assembly line.
Does Lee work on an assembly line?
Yes, he does. He works on the assembly line. Simply installing the earpiece into the speaker, into this part of the telephone. Tell him to ask me if Lee earns a good salary.
Ask him if Lee earns a good salary.
Does Lee earn a good salary?
Well, in China now, people are earning more money than before. And in cities like Shanghai, the salary of a worker is adequate or enough to live. So he's earning, relative to maybe 10, 15, or 25 years ago, yes, he's earning a good salary. In absolute terms, no, he's not earning a high salary because he's a worker on the assembly line. Tell him to ask me how many hours a week he works.
Ask him how many hours a week he works.
How many hours a week does he work?
He works 40 hours a week, like in Spain usually. And tell him to ask me what time he starts work every day.
Ask him what time he starts work every day.
What time does he start work every day?
He starts work at 6 o'clock in the morning. Tell him to ask me what time he finishes.
Ask him what time he finishes.
What time does he finish?
He finishes at 2 o'clock. So tell him to ask me how many hours. Well, how many hours a day does he work?
Ask him how many hours a day he works.
How many hours a day does he work?
He works 8 hours a day. Okay, well, not exactly. Tell him to ask me why he doesn't work exactly 8 hours a day.
Ask him why he doesn't work 8 hours a day exactly.
Exactly. Egg. ¿Cómo se dice huevo?
Egg.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Good.
Why he doesn't work?
Pregunta. Auxiliar primero. Why?
Why doesn't he work 8 exactly hours?
No, 8 hours exactly.
Sorry.
8
hours exactly.
Because he takes a break. He takes a break. Okay, during the 8 hours. Tell him to ask me how much time he takes for his break.
Ask him how much time he takes for his break.
How much time does he take for his break?
He takes exactly. ¿Cómo se dice huevo en inglés?
Egg.
Exactly 15 minutes. Because it's very strict in the factory. Tell him to ask me what he does during the break.
Ask him what he does during the break.
What does he do during the break?
He has lunch. All right. Tell him to ask me if he has lunch in the factory canteen.
Ask him if he takes lunch. Has lunch
Dios
in the
mío.
factory canteen. Sorry.
No me lo creo. To take lunch.
I just wanted to see if you were.
No. On television eso no se me hace. Okay. Tengo la tensión ya más alta después de oír eso.
No, it's not true.
Come on. Now tell him to ask me. I forgot the question. Do you remember?
Why he only takes.
Does he have lunch?
Why? Okay, now I remember.
During the break?
No. He has a break of 15 minutes every day, but exactly 15 minutes. And he has lunch during that break. Tell him to ask me if he has lunch in the factory canteen.
Ask him if he has lunch in the factory canteen.
Does he have lunch in the factory canteen?
No, he doesn't. Tell him to ask me why.
Ask him why he doesn't have lunch in the factory canteen.
Why doesn't he have lunch in the factory canteen?
Because there isn't a canteen in the factory. All right. Tell him to ask me how many people work in that factory.
Ask him how many people work in that factory.
How many people do work in the
Porque
factory?
estamos buscando. El sujeto de la futura respuesta va a ser un número.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the same mistake.
100
I did.
personas murieron en el accidente. 100 personas. ¿Cuál es el sujeto? 100.
Yeah.
All right? O 100 personas. All right? So, ask me how many people work in that factory.
How many people work in the factory?
All right. 4,742. I know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly. 4,742 people work in that factory. Okay? And tell them to ask me how they eat lunch.
Ask him how they eat lunch.
Sorry, how?
How
they
do they?
eat lunch.
How do they?
How do...
Yeah. No, estaba bien lo tuyo.
How do they take lunch?
To take? ¿A dónde
How
lo
do,
llevan?
how do they have lunch?
Good. Or how do they eat lunch? They take their lunch to work. Okay, from home. Okay, and they eat it in 15 minutes. Now, not all 4,700 go to work in the morning shift. Some go to work in the afternoon shift, which is from 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And some people work on the night shift, from 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay?
Yeah.
Lee normally works in the morning shift. Sometimes he works in the afternoon, and occasionally he works siempre con on the night shift. He prefers the morning shift. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, tell him to ask me what he takes to work for lunch.
Ask him what he takes to work for lunch.
What does he take for work to lunch?
Sorry.
Se ríe de ti.
Sorry.
Está riéndote de ti. ¿Qué hacemos con ella después? ¿A qué no deben reírse de
She's laughing at me because I am
She's laughing at me.
at me because it's my first day.
It's your first day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, ask me why. I forgot.
Why he takes...
Okay. Ask me what he takes to lunch. Or what he takes to work for lunch. Ahí está. Ask me what, ahora me lío yo. Ask me what he takes to
Good.
work for lunch.
What does he take? What
To-
does he take
To work?
to work for lunch?
Good. He takes a sandwich. What?
I was thinking of the other sentence. He
About,
said
about. Sí, ves, se equivoca también.
Yeah.
All right. She's not perfect, Jose Felix.
We are humans.
Well, you and me, we're human. Is she human?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yes, he is.
Sometimes I have my doubts, okay? Because she's Miss Perfect, okay? Yeah. Vamos a intentar la próxima clase que lo pase un poco mal, okay?
Okay.
We'll make her. Okay. Now, he takes a sandwich to lunch. Ask me what kind of sandwich he takes to lunch. Takes to work. Es culpa tuya todo esto.
What kind of
Sandwich.
does he take to go
work.
to work?
For lunch.
For lunch.
He takes a chicken sandwich. Ask me who makes the sandwich for him.
Who does it make?
No, who makes?
Who makes? Sorry, it's the same. Sorry, because I think it's an old mistake
Of mine.
of mine.
Good,
Yeah.
well, eradicate it, okay?
Yeah.
Now, ask me who makes the sandwich.
Yeah. In many occasions, I think it's harder to eradicate the old mistakes than to learn new things.
I know, but you need to eradicate the
Yeah,
old
of
things.
course.
Ask me who makes the sandwich.
Who makes the sandwich? Sorry.
His wife does. Okay, she makes a chicken sandwich almost all the time. But sometimes she doesn't make a chicken sandwich. Ask me why she doesn't make a chicken sandwich sometimes.
Why doesn't she make
A chicken?
a chicken sandwich?
Sometimes. Because she doesn't have any chicken.
Oh.
That's a problem. You know, when the wife doesn't have any chicken, she makes the sandwich the night before. Because Lee leaves home at 5 o'clock. It takes him an hour to go to work by bicycle. He crosses practically all of Shanghai. And so the night before, his wife makes a chicken sandwich. And if they don't have any chicken, it's a problem. Ask me what they do when they don't have any chicken.
What do they do when they don't have any chicken?
When they don't?
Don't have any chicken.
She makes a tofu sandwich, which is strange.
Yeah.
Okay. Ask me if Lee likes tofu.
Does Lee like tofu?
Yeah, it's okay. He's used to it. All right. Ask me if we're going to talk about Lee again in the future.
Are we going to talk about Lee in the future?
Probably. Okay, it's a very interesting story. But we have to say goodbye. Well, you have to say goodbye because I'm coming back with another student. Just me, a private class with another student in a few minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, It's time to take a break, a short break, not a 15-minute break, a maximum of 5-minute break. So you have permission to go for 5 minutes, but I want you back in 5 minutes because we have a lot of work to do, okay? See you in a moment. Bye-bye.